Hello, 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 and welcome to this special uh, first first match of the tournament replacements, which we happen to catch live. With me to cast this is Dells and Ponoob.
Howdy.
Good afternoon.
Hey, yeah. So take it away, guys, while I do a lot of stuff in the background.
Cool, perfect. They're starting up the draft room now. They're both in the room, and no picks have been done yet.
Yeah, and so the players we have today, we have Ryooo, who made the tournament position by getting, was it second or third place in bronze? I believe second place. Won a tiebreaker head-to-head against Pox, and so was the top seed in bronze for this tournament. And from Obsidian, we have JD, who placed second in the division, right behind Ascend Beyond. So JD is the lower seed here. I believe Ryooo is the fifth seed. JD is the 12th. So JD is definitely the underdog going into this match. But JD has done impressively well so far this season. Really, really high spot win rate. And so I'll be looking forward to seeing how that compares with a bronze level player.
Yeah, and Braun's been absolutely loaded this year. So Ryu getting in, along with Pox, and then Chef took the auto promote, means players like Turnip Boy, David W, and DeGran, who had reasonable success, but Ryu was able to edge out. The success has been. I don't have to explain to Rio how the format works. I'll explain to you guys while I do it. So, Rio does get to pick first and spy first.
And they are doing the special draft where they are banning one map but picking three, correct?
Yeah, so they each ban one map similar to SCL. They get one double map each, similar to regular SCL, and then they pick two single maps. So it's just an extended version where they each play one additional map than what they would be playing in the regular season, ending up in a total. We could go up to 16 games.
Yeah, and
Ryu
this
as
could be
the
a problem for JD. JD seems to really like banning the 5 of 8 maps. In fact, the only maps they've banned the entire season are Library, Veranda, and Modern. And so with this draft format, Ryo, if he wants, is going to be able to pick 2 out of the 3 of those and still get, one of Ryo's own comfort maps.
Okay, so Rio's confirmed to me that he's gonna pick first and spy first. And we were discussing
Bah.
with JD's likes banning his 5 of 8 map, and Rio is gonna ban High Rise, which we did also predict. JD banning Library. Looking at their stats, JD's been undefeated on Ballroom, and it's Rio's favorite pick. It'll be interesting. It's gonna be like a Ballroom chicken situation of who's going to be the one who ends up picking Ballroom. Rio's locked in the first pick. It's Modern, any 5.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Ryo
Ooh,
picks Modern a lot, usually a single pick, and JD is just not seemingly comfortable with the 5 of 8s very much.
JD locking in Terrace as his double pick.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's a venue. It's a legal choice. Rio's picked Courtyard. He's liked his 4 7s and 4 8s this season. That's not too surprising.
They are playing Ballroom Chicken, right? Like, both of them still want Ballroom. It just hasn't been picked yet.
Yeah, and Rio's picking first. So if they all go through and then there's one pick left, it'll be up to JD to see if he can avoid picking Ballroom or if he's just going, you picked first. I have to pick Ballroom.
And if I can just jump in here 1 second, we don't quite have the pick ban stream layout out yet, so I'm just going to be showing the first two picks each, and then I'm going to be like, the last pick is going to swap to the last pick. You'll see what I'm talking about. It will be fixed soon, hopefully.
JD in the tank here, after the Courtyard pick. I think this might be what we're talking about. Is it time to lock in the Ballroom pick?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely makes a lot of sense that Ryo doesn't want any swingy maps. I believe one of
Wow.
Ryo's closest results all season was it against Mr. Rogers, where he was able to where Balcony got chosen and Mr. Rogers brought it back up to 7-5.
JD picking Veranda, which he's banned previously.
There's the Ballroom pick from Ryo, but that's really surprising to see JD pick Veranda. It looks like JD has banned Veranda 3 times, but also chosen it twice, so maybe it used to be a weakness, now it isn't as much of a weakness anymore.
Yeah, Pofsky saying in our chat, these picks from JD make no sense. Maybe he's doing checker. He loves all maps equally. My bigger suspicion, he's picking maps that he thinks he has strategies on, or maps that he thinks Ryooo might be thrown off on.
And
Balcony would also fit that theme.
Yeah, Balcony from JD, and Ryooo seems to have had trouble on Balcony in the past, so I think JD's picks are designed maybe to throw Ryooo off a little bit. I mean, a double terrace pick, it's interesting.
Okay, so they're getting into game, so we'll get into game. And I'm giving Ryooo the green light to proceed when they are ready.
Great. I mean, God, if you look at the stats, Ryooo has literally played 1 game of Terrace in his entire SCL career, and that's including Season 4 and 5.
Did he win it?
Did he win it? Yes, he won it as Sniper.
Looking at the picks and bans, so Ryooo has picked Modern 3 times this season, and he's played it 2 games.
Yeah,
so
clearly a single pick.
He's been picking it as a single pick and then just not getting there because he keeps on winning the sets. When you're ready, Ryooo.
Yeah, and Ryooo has just had some really dominant sniper games. I'm not surprised that Ryooo would want to play Modern. If you're able to keep track of everything that's happening, not hard to take a correct shot. And Ryooo is just someone who I would define Ryooo's sniper game as just being able to really track missions very, very well. He generally has the exact count of exactly how many fingerprints each guest has had. If there's a purloin chain, he knows exactly who was in it and in what order. And so it definitely makes a lot of sense that he would consider Modern to be a strength for him.
Yeah, it's one of the words I describe Ryooo, and I think he might even just be like the most script is solid. He's just very, very, very solid. They're getting started here. This is the first game of the tournament placement and the first tournament placement we've ever had. So congratulations to this season. Let's go and have a good set, Ryooo and JD. Good luck. We got Ryooo on Queen to start Modern game.
Yeah, and so Ryooo as Spy, I think, is not really going to have Modern pacing issues. I think it's likely that Ryoo's just going to go for the inspects, the fingerprints, and just find a good moment to stick a hardtail in here. JD is someone who really holds his shot a lot. He lets mission wins go by more than he shoots civilian. And so basically, I think it's just going to come down to, can Ryooo get some sort of hardtail off without JD seeing it? If yes, JD might not take a shot until he's sure.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the theme, is Ryooo doing things and then putting the impetus on JD. Just, can you shoot me? I've done fingerprints in your face. I've done inspects. You might have missed some things, but can you get this shot off? Ryooo taking the delegate here, got the 51% flare. Pretty standard start, honestly.
Yeah, there were a few people at the bar. It could be an okay time to go for a delegate, but if JD was tracking them, then it would narrow the party down really quickly, and I'm not sure that's something Ryooo wants to do.
In the end of red.
I do enjoy watching and casting Ryooo games because when I think of something as a good idea, he goes and does it. This banana, very solid. And not terrible SDA luck. We got a few other suspects that weren't just in our conversation.
Yeah, it looks like there's really only 4 lowlights now, so it is a pretty good banana bread. And have we delegated to anyone? Yes,
we have.
delegated
Just
to
went
Mills.
off.
List is gone. Hopefully the banana bread confusion could cover that up a little bit. I'm not seeing an immediate reaction from JD. JD highlights wheel, and now we're going to see, is JD able to lowlight the rest of the party who had never been to the bar, or was he maybe not as on top of that as he needed to be?
One of the things that I'd like to see from JD here is getting rid of some of like the inspect highlights. Because you know that they were inspecting and not doing the bar rush, or you hopefully would know.
Now
doesn't
Ryooo
seem
is
like
doing
the case.
that clever play where you go back to the bar after you've already purloined. If the sniper wasn't on top of the purloin and doesn't know who did it, they can sometimes be desperate for lowlights, and they will lowlight you for going back to the bar because the spy has no reason to go there. It's not like we were flirting. We were next to an SDA.
One of the issues with this play is we now have a drink in our hand, so we can't do, for example, go to the statue next to our seduction target and get inspect and flirt. We need to start finishing this drink.
Yeah,
This
we
is
really
a
want this briefcase. I mean, look at how far out of the way this briefcase was. It's no wonder that no one else was going for it. I think the flirt progress is okay. We're only going to need one more, but we are really going to need to get another print, and we're going to really want the drink out of our hand if the Amba leaves a print on statues or book.
yeah, ambassador's been moving around, but I'm not 100% sure if there's a print readily available.
It looks like Ryooo might be having some pacing issues after all. We can't join the seduction target. It looked like he was going to enter this conversation, but he didn't. The only way we can flirt with him is if we go over to that bookcase now, and that's not what Ryooo's going to do, actually. Ryooo's going to be going over to the green bookcase instead. Now I'm worried about if we're going to get the flirt done, and even if we finish fingerprints with the print on this book, we still need to do another mission. It might be microfilm at this point, but that's really dangerous. I don't think you have time to do 2 more inspects, so you're going to need to either do the microfilm or swap a statue.
Yeah,
Either that or go in for a bug, but who knows if the ambassador is going to give you an opportunity with just 1 minute left.
I think you take the flirt first, though Carlos is doing his best to run away from us.
Oh god, this is horrible. We're wasting so much time here. Might even time ad before the beep beeps start? No, that wouldn't really be safe, but at this point you just have to go do a hard tell. Hope that you're not much of a suspect, which, to be fair, Ryooo isn't. There are 3 highlights and Ryooo isn't one of them despite completing fingerprints. So it's just a matter of if we go in for a swap or a bug here, is it going to be what?
Yeah, so we take a path closely in Ambassador, do not take the bug. We are going to end up swapping. This is the most swappable statue. It's a white swap immediate, and the shot.
Yeah, that was right on screen. It's unfortunate for Ryooo. I think the ST wasn't being super nice, but it's also the decision to get that second drink that was slowing us down. Like you said, we could have joined Tex Carlos at the statues earlier if we didn't have the drink, and it just would have given us more options.
There is some value to doing some innocent things, and we'll see if Ryu decides just to stop doing anything like that if he's never going to get a low light or get any sort of reward. Okay, it's JD's turn to run Modern. I think that was a solid start to Ryu. He came out punching, and that's really what you want to do in these otherwise tense situations. We'll see if JD can keep up the pacing on Modern. It's a big ask.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw more pacing issues here. Just looking at JD's spy stats, it seems like JD is generally someone who can rely on civilians getting shot. It seems like he probably plays some sort of under the radar game. So that was a missed pad getting onto the bar, but with so many people there, I don't think it was noticed. It could have just looked like trouble fitting in, which even the AIs have sometimes.
Yeah, so JD missed the pad, and I think the biggest issue and the concern from maybe JD's side was the ambassadors here. You're wanting to check the purloin, and the laser was over us. JD might think he got caught.
Yeah, and so there is a really large number of people at this bar. It's going to be a long wait to get our drink, and JD decides to just leave without one.
Yeah, there's been situations we've seen in cast previously where people stand at the bar and get highlight for just simply being at the bar, even though they didn't take a drink.
And there was a time ad from JD over at the window, not seen at all by Ryooo. Ryooo was zoomed in, really guarding the ambassador carefully. The ambassador is sort of in a dangerous spot behind that conversation. And so I don't think this time ad has even been noticed at all. And I think it makes a lot of sense that JD did that time ad because he had wasted a bunch of time at the bar, not even getting it. So it makes sense that he chose to do one. And now he's going in for the statue inspects, picking up a highlight. Probably not a huge suspect at
If
this
we
moment.
can green this, ooh, we take a few steps away. We might be close enough for 49 with the big green.
Yeah,
JK, Alice have none of it, and we do not get any flirt.
that was really tentative. I mean, I think we could have gotten away with entering next to her and talking before she left. I mean, we waited over 5 seconds. There's a bug entering next to the ambassador. It doesn't even take, and it gets JD shot. How unfortunate.
Yeah, so he was a bit far away, and one of the reasons you pick Taft as your ambassador is so you can hide your arm in him in those situations. Rio on the ball though, and we're
Yeah, it looked like JD was just a little bit uncertain of what their strategy was as a spy there. Waiting at the bar, going and doing a time ad. None of that really planned, and then it was just being a little tentative with the flirt. It looked like JD just really wasn't sure. Can I get away with aggressive flirting against Ryo or not? Especially when you've already picked up the statue highlight. And so from both of these players, we're going to be looking to see if they can improve the spy game they're playing here. Ryo starting all the way in the back as Kane this
Huh.
time.
You can go really far back there. Jeez, I did not realize that.
Yeah, you can do it on high rise too, I think. It's always sort of funny when that happens. I mean, I guess
Rio
you can go as
getting
far as
ju
Damon.
Rio getting juked out by the seduction target, ends up putting his feet into that conversation, doing a little wonky move there, but it's all time of chaos. We're fine. It's actually the exact same start we saw the last game.
Yeah,
A really
the
busy
only
bar.
difference, there's no ambassador at the bar. Oh, hey, I spoke too soon. No, I didn't. The ambassador's not going to the bar.
One option you have here, the walk away is obviously an option. You can also just demand a
Do you
walk.
think snipers notice if you demand?
I've been shot by Ryu.
Ooh, there was a bug walking by the ambassador, and this time Rio was seen, and JD takes the early shot for bug.
Yes. So good catch on the bug. It's a cane bug, and the path is always going to be suspicious. I don't in the shot, but if you're that confident, you're that confident.
Yeah, and
You can,
so far that's 3 sniper wins here on Modern. I mean, that's not surprising. Modern is definitely one of the maps with a higher sniper win rate, but JD's got to be feeling good for keeping the score even for now. I mean, if Rio gets one more sniper win, they'll be tied on Modern. And when you're coming in as the underdog, even if it's a sniper favored map, it's still nice to start off going even just so you can, mentally tell yourself, yes, I'm in this. I have a chance. I can keep up with this person.
yeah, with JD's picks too. He's picked terrace and balcony. These more unusual maps. If he can keep even on Ryu's maps and then has some special strategies against
Well,
Ryu, are we AI controlling the whole game?
we're AI controlling. No, we're going to remove the AI control when we pick up the statue, for sure.
Okay.
We just wanted to
Okay.
get the
Okay. Okay.
nice sip and pickup timing. Yeah, that works.
Yeah, he got AI controlled into statues and really throwing me off there.
Yeah,
Murder's
it's
not a
really
map
not
you can
great.
get away with that because you're just not going to be able to frame people easily. You
Yeah,
can
it's
make
not
people
great to
more
pick up the early statue
suspicious quite
highlight.
easily. Yeah,
Um,
we did that 2 games in a row now.
We did. I mean, like I said, last time JD just seemed a little bit unsure of what the strategy he wanted to go for as spy was. He also struggled with the early statue highlight earlier. I feel like maybe the reason he was tentative with the flirt last time was because he knew he was already a highlight for statues. And so we're going to see if he does the same thing here. But that's a delegate. That's when you pick up the option to delegate without taking the drink. The thinking being that the sniper won't see you with the drink, so they might not know that you could have the option to delegate. But when you're already a highlight, it was probably noticed that you were at the bar.
I will argue that 49% is the perfect flirt. 51% is the maximum that you can get in one flirt with a big green test, but it means that you're very close to your seduction target. If you're doing 49%, you can still finish in 2 flirts, but you don't necessarily look like you're flirting half as much as a 51%. Delegate to Papa Danger.
Yep, he's going right to the bar. There's not going to be any wait here. We're also in a good position to get this briefcase as well as the ambassador is leaving.
JD's not looking at the briefcase, and it's gonna be Queens.
I mean, it could be that JD is just watching to see what happens with the guest list. I mean, the
Oh
moment the guest
no!
list disappears, you might want to watch the sniper to see how on top of the list. Oh, delegate
Expired.
timer expired. Wow, there was almost no one in line before Kane, but I guess the twin was, and that means it didn't go off in time. I thought it was a sure thing that it was going to go off. JD definitely not feeling very good right now. In conversation with a double agent, conversation's not really very full. This one is slipping away from JD because that purloin didn't go off.
Yeah, there's always a question where if the purloin did go off, how many suspects did Ryu really have? Maybe it's an actual blessing in disguise. However, we don't have a mission done, and we have only 2 missions half done, and we're already well over halfway through the clock. This is the
Yeah.
concerns that we had
Banana
before
bread.
the set started. Ooh,
There's a banana bread into a split. The conversations were a bit more full. The bottom one has an SDA as well, so there are at least a decent number of suspects, but we're letting off a few more lowlights here than we'd want. We're going into statues. We're finishing the inspects now,
That's a
and
white
we're doing
swap.
a swap. Not even a green swap. It's right on screen. Ryooo took a moment to think, was anyone else at that statue? No, I don't think so. And there's the shot.
Yeah, not much to say there. Ambassador was over there previously, which means uh, he's been looking over in that direction too. There's absolutely no chance that someone greened that swap.
Yeah, I think the only thing in JD's favor was I believe he went to the statue that wasn't the one the ambassador touched. So, maybe for a moment the sniper thinks, oh, they're not going to the fingerprintable statue. I don't have to worry about that. But I mean, if swap's on screen, a swap is on screen. And now we're moving on to Terrace. I won't lie, this might be the one I'm most excited for. It's just because, Terrace doesn't get picked a lot. So when someone does pick it, it indicates that either they're very comfortable or they have some sort of. And Terrace is definitely a map where you can have plans as a spy. It is a framing map. With statues off, basically one of the available strategies is you notice who has completed fingerprint or who had a bugging opportunity, and you pretend that they send you to get the list, or you send them to get the list. So we'll see what JD has in mind when it's JD's turn to spy. But right now, Ryooo is spying as Pearl.
Yeah, it's 34% here on the flirt. Pearls is a good choice for this map. Both her and Orange Dress have a lot of control because they're slower and their bugs are quite good. Both their walking and standing. You kind of want to have good bugs.
Yeah, Terrace is a really good map for bug, isn't it? The sniper angle isn't always the greatest, and especially when the ambassador is around this conversation on the left, especially if you're standing, where Orange Sari or Smallman are standing, you can get some really, really good bugs.
Yeah, particularly the reverse drive-bys where you're standing and then the ambassador comes behind you. You get the little channel between the two conversations is the most suspicious place to stand and the easiest place to get those sort of bugs. We have no respect. This is going back to the exact same spot, and we get punished with the seduction target bailing on us.
I think we were on the right side last time, and now we're on the left side. But yeah, really, if you don't think your sniper is tracking flirts, there's no reason not to do that. The conversations are looking like they might fill up, so it could be a good time for a banana bread, even if it's a fake. If Tex joins,
Banana
no,
bread.
he doesn't. Yep,
There,
but Ryooo feels the same way. There's a banana bread coming off. It is letting off 2 lowlights, and the double agent might have left as it was happening, but JD is still taking the highlights for real BB, even if it was maybe a sunshine.
it wasn't specifically, it was a fake banana bread. So there's now 3 highlights from the other conversation. It's going to be on JD to have that patience to know that a hard tell isn't done, and it's not likely any of those highlights are going to finish fingerprint. It's going to be on Ryooo to figure out if he can purloin to one of those characters or convince JD that they do a purloin. The inspect doesn't matter here, the flirt does. We're at 68%.
Yeah, meanwhile, Tex is the one getting the briefcase here, but Tex is a low light. The only problem with that BB was letting off a few low lights. Only 2 of them. Irish was already low lit from early. It really looked like 1 or 2 more people could enter
Banana
conversation, and
bread.
it would be a really good banana bread. Here's another one coming off, and now, wow, look at that's Pearl's twin and Sari, who didn't have Real before and have it
Wrong
now.
arm.
There's a bug. The arm right on screen, though, just waiting to line up the shot, and there it is.
Yeah, so the wrong arm bug has benefits and costs. And the benefit is it's unexpected. And the cost is you don't have your arm hidden by Taft's rotund body.
Yes, sometimes you just assume that if you're doing a wrong arm bug, wow, it's a wrong arm bug. It must be good. That's so fancy. But if the wrong arm means that you're waving to the sniper, then it really is the wrong arm.
Yeah, JD with a good rotate there. Being mindful of the possibility and Ryooo not realizing that a bug that would have been a few moments ago is no longer good.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing about that is that it was good that JD was still watching for it, because some snipers could have gotten thrown off by the second banana bread and just spend a few moments wondering, oh, who has real now? Let me highlight them, whatever, and might not have seen the bug. So it was good looking out from JD as well.
What I think actually happened is Ryo didn't want to break the idle animation before doing the bug, and I think he might have wanted to in this situation of just, I don't care if my arms are crossed, I'm doing the BB into split bug.
Ooh, JD missing out
Cute.
on that briefcase. He really wanted it. He got that drink, he bolted out of there and tried to get it, but Taft got it first. Taft is a highlight, though, so that's good.
Ooh,
Potential
Taft
shot.
doing the weird path there too, right through the investor. Thankfully for Ryu's sake, Taft's bugs are pretty obvious. If he had bugged there, he should. But the path is still suspicious. Now he's talking too. We've had a lot of 51% flirts this set already.
Yeah, I'm wondering if we're planning to delegate. It was really only Disney and us at the bar, so here's the delegate going off to Mr. G, General. There really aren't going to be a lot of suspects if that purloin goes off, so we'll have to see how distracted Rio was by Taft during the first half of this game.
Another Paraline expires.
Uh,
JD still having time issues. Hey,
I mean, I don't think it was the greatest purloin, so maybe JD was purposefully not doing it because, like I said, it was really only Disney and us as suspects. But then, as the timer's nearing its end, you kind of send it off anyway because, hey, if it goes off, maybe it'll have been so long that it'll actually work now. I don't know if JD was expecting the purloin to work or not. There was just no reason not to fire it off at that point.
one of the soft benefits of that Paraline is because we did it to a selection target, it reset the flirt timer. And that works.
Meanwhile, unfortunately, Taft has really not been doing much, but there are a decent number of highlights here, and JD is not one of
Yeah,
them.
2 highlights going to bar right now means that if JD goes and does the immediate Paraline, he might just get one of them shot.
Yeah, there's not much room next to us for someone to enter. Someone could enter next to us. Like, ideally, we really want Taft to delegate to us. Yeah, we're moving to a spot where there's 2 open spots. Oh no, Taft went to the spot that was next to us. If we had just stayed there, we could have had Taft fake delegate to us, but didn't work.
Ambassador with the immediate talk. Thankfully, he's not the spy. Seek picking up another print. This could be big. The banana bread, however, hasn't gone off, so there's no incentive to shoot just yet. And the double agent's not in conversation as of the moment. Maybe they can
Yes,
go
to
into the
enter
same
that other one.
conversation.
Now they're
Seek,
in, but Seek's not in it. We're gonna enter that
we're
conversation. We
playing to
want the
win.
real.
Oh, that bug is good.
Whoa, that bug!
We might
The
get
arm
shot
is
for the banana bread, but
completely
we've got a lot
blocked.
of
Banana
cover.
bread.
Yep. Disney, Irish, and Taft just in the way, completely blocking it with the wrong arm. That was a fantastic bug, and with that, there's no way JD is getting shot, and JD breaks serve and takes the lead against Rio.
Yeah, we're live, so we might not get a chance here to necessarily watch the replay, but that bug had so much cover. It was wrong arm. It was well timed. JD is up 4-2 and deservingly so.
Oh man, that's not. I mean, to be honest, it's not how I expected. How I expected this to go. But JD held on, tied it up on Modern, 4 sniper wins, and now has shown that he had a good reason to choose Terra. And I didn't really think that he was going to get away with a spy win there. It looked like things really weren't working out when we weren't really able to get the delegate, when the double agent was like out of conversation, and we weren't sure if they were going to enter or not. But he made it work. I mean, that was a fantastic bug, and Rio is probably feeling a little bit scared now.
Yeah, what I was expecting, honestly, was the banana bread covering the bug. JD did one better. They're starting up next game here. It's going to be Ryu on orange dress. And maybe meet our
Oh,
selection target at statues?
yeah, look at that flirt. Oh, we're doing the one where we go to the same statue pad as them, and it's not even really that suspicious because we do have a drink, so it gives us time to flirt and then leave. And 51. Has every first flirt in this set been
There's
51%?
been one that wasn't. These guys are warm, heating up with their action tests, and we'll see if they can get him on the ones that matter, the purloins and this flops in the future.
Double agent picking up the briefcase.
Not
The
playing.
ambassador just moving around, very safe at the moment. This party isn't being very nice to Ryooo right now. And Ryooo really needs the spy win.
Yeah, I'd say Rio's gonna be the favorite on any standard map. Terrace isn't particularly standard, because AI can finish. It's a true, and it'll be true with balcony too, where if you purloin to the right person, you're really putting the sniper in a 50-50 spot. If you
Oh,
miss one hard tell, the game's over. This is perfect
the
bug area.
ambassador entering right next to us there. That's great.
BB
And there's
covering
a
the bug.
fake BB followed by a bug. That's the play you said you were expecting to see last game, but it's happening now, and it looks like Ryooo got away with it without any major suspicion. Highlights coming off in the other conversation for real BB, not noticing the bug at all. And Ryooo is now on a really good path to get the spy win he needs to stay in the game.
Yeah, seduction target making themselves not flirtable, but they're getting a fingerprint. That's another person who gets shot. If they go to bar now, that's 2 fingerprints for them. Come on, seduction target, go get yourself murdered.
Yeah, just Ryooo just needs to not get overconfident. Oh no! Oh,
Oh,
ST! My god,
you
what a fake out. It looked like
teased.
he was about to enter right next to us.
Yeah.
And the end of red.
You know that. Okay. This is suspicious. You go, why have there been 2 banana breads? And the answer, by the way, is he bugged.
I mean, the good thing is it's just giving real BB to, I guess, only Tex and us now, but I think that there were enough people in conversation for both of these that it just creates a confusing puzzle for the sniper, and I'm not sure JD can really figure out which one
Yeah.
is real or not. And
If you're
there's the
if you're
final
gonna if
flirt.
you're gonna get hit by a good bug, you're gonna green 2 flirts. Like, GG, take your win.
Yeah, on Terrace, that's just kind of how it works. If you get away with the bug unseen, they're really not going to have a reason to shoot you. On a 4 of 8, if you get away with the bug unseen, you do still have to, go for the fingerprints or the statue, so you can give them a reason. But on Terrace, there's just no way, especially when they had no reason to be watching you early and no reason to know what your flirt pair is.
Oh, by the way, Ryooo did purloin.
Didn't
He
Ryooo win with... Oh, was it just like, what? The
he
BM?
won with 4 missions.
4 missions. Sure, that works. And with that, Ryooo just needs to win the sniper game here to bring it back to a tie. That was a crucial, crucial spy win. And I mean, this is a really, really close match. Both players are keeping it really competitive here. JD was probably feeling really good about breaking serve. Ryooo was probably feeling not great about it. And then Ryooo brings it back. Now JD is probably starting to feel nervous again. This is very, very intense.
Yeah, the lovely thing about it is they're both hitting a lot of green tab. The decision making seems to be solid. I think Ryu's decision making has been just very much his standard, and JD uh, making the one big decision to give him the spy win with that fantastic bug. It's going to be on JD, I think, to continue making a chain of good decisions if he wants to win this set in total, though.
Yeah, so speaking of good decisions, we entered this conversation, probably AI controlled right next to Boots, and it really looked like we were flirting with her because we started talking instantly. That can be a good thing, though, because sometimes the sniper sort of notices a potential flirt pair, and then if you never return to them again, they think, oh, I guess it's probably not them then.
If
We are
you're
gonna
cognizant
be...
of it as the spy, if we go up to Boots and talk again, we're in trouble.
Oh yeah, hopefully JD knows not to do that. We got the fingerprintable drink, and honestly, it's probably a good thing that Wheels went and picked up that briefcase before we could get it, because if we got 2 fingerprints in a row there, we would have become the top suspect for sure. Now we have time to let other people gather some fingerprints, and so maybe when we get the second one, it'll be spaced out and we won't be a huge suspect for it. We entered next to Boots again!
I know, right? And we got 31%, so we are not good enough to do 3 white, and we're fake pairing ourselves. JD has stumbled into a dilemma.
Oh no. Look, it's fine. Just don't ever enter next to Boots again, and unless you hit 2 green flirts, you still can't be shot for that flirt pair. If Ryo's even looking for it.
What Ryo is looking for is fingerprints. He's highlight every... Oh goodness, safety off on JD. We're just considered timer flirting with Boots right now, and oh no. We're gonna get shot on banana bread.
Boots is ruining it. Oh, Boots, you ruined everything. But, it is kind of on JD for entering next to her again. And a lot of spies don't think of that. You don't ever think about what potential flirt pairings you could have for the sniper, because you have no idea who you're standing next to, unless it's the ST. Yeah, we can't go for a bug here. would be really nice. Maybe a wrong arm, honestly, because we have a drink, but it's just not going to work. I don't think JD's really going to be able to get away with anything. I think the best bet would just be to keep waiting, let other suspects pile up, let some other shiny thing distract Ryo.
Fake banana
Fake
bread
banana
does
bread
that.
helps. Ooh, there's the bug.
It's not
The
close
arm
enough.
not visible at all, but oh no, I guess it was visible to Ryo. Ryo was on top of.
Yeah, he wasn't close enough. For the bug, you need to twitch over if you're gonna try and pull that off, and twitching on terrace is a decision.
I think there was just so much suspicion either way that just being next to the Amba during a banana bread there would have been enough. It sounds like the broadcast is down. Oh no, Kaylee said the
No,
broadcast
Kaylee's
is down, but
computer's broken.
he was lying.
He wasn't lying. He's just mistaken. So we're 4-4.
No, so that dropped a
Yep.
couple frames, and that probably happened to Kaylee. So Kaylee's
Yeah,
not exactly lying. It's just that it happened just to him.
I was just kidding. I mean, I know Kaylee's not lying to us deliberately.
Yeah, reminder, Ryo as the higher seed, since he's in bronze, does win the 8-8 tie situation. So if he can keep it even, not necessarily the way that you want to win, but it still counts as a win. Ryo going for the quick purloin here, potentially. And they just
Ooh,
keep on green testing. It was on
that's
camera.
good. It was on camera, and then we immediately went to statues, which is what spies love to do. Oh, but JD's not watching for it. Seek is taking the list, and we didn't even have it on screen. We're still not looking at Toby. Now the list is finally visible. Now JD is panning over and noticing it gone and probably going to start to panic. Lowlight Seek, even though Seek is the one who took it and it wasn't on screen. And
Lowlight's
there's
general.
the lowlight on Ryo as well. Oh no, JD just had no idea about this Pearl.
So yeah, we're lost and mistaken. He does it based on area and not by actually knowing who did the purloin. Ryu, you may as well just return the list, buddy. He knows nothing.
And
Yeah,
Rio's
we're doing.
taking another drink. I mean, taking a drink there is what you do when you think you might be suspected for the purloin and you want to lower your suspicion. I mean, Ryo felt the laser move onto him. He just doesn't know if it was for a highlight or a low light. And that's sort of the only way this could go wrong is if Ryo isn't able to finish. But with the inspects and the contact done, all Ryo needs to do is flirt. So unless Salmon is really uncooperative, it should be good for Ryo. The only thing that could maybe change things up is if JD sort of realizes that these three non-low lights aren't doing anything, but that's not even going to happen. Smallman is getting fingerprint.
Yeah, the problem with that is we've already done the inspects. You can't do the, oh, it must be one of my lowlights and I see someone inspecting the last 30 seconds shot, which the laser is sitting on Ryu, by the way. It's just
Yeah, it
concerning.
was, but I don't think it means anything.
It
I think
doesn't
it's
mean
just
any.
watching
It doesn't
Smallman.
mean anything from JD's perspective. If you're Ryu, you're like, why am I being laser burned right now? Can you not?
Yeah, and look
Uh,
at that. Ryo was being a little respectful with that third. He didn't talk right away. He waited a nice handful of seconds. But unless Salmon goes on the longest briefcase window adventure of all time, it should be no problem for Ryo to get this win here. And then if Ryo just wins the sniper game on Courtyard, Ryo will be the one to break serve and be firmly ahead here.
yeah. So the briefcase is now secure. There's nothing that can truly distract Sam in danger. Even if he goes to statues, there's another pad next to him that we can go to. This is looking better and better for Rio as we go on. Just getting closer to that expiring flirt timer.
And Smallman is the suspect here. I mean, if you just look, Smallman's been moving around a lot. He got that fingerprint. I think he went to statues. But Smallman's not doing anything. JD's really confused right now, and JD is definitely not going to be able to
Lasers
take
on
the
our
shot.
head.
Rio
Lasers on
must
our
be
head.
so
Oh no.
scared. Rio must be terrified with that laser resting on his head during mission win countdown, but it's not because of suspicion.
Yeah, so we might have a 5-minute interlude where Rio has to go change his pants, but he had that game in the bag a while ago.
Yeah, it's really funny to imagine what was going through Rio's mind the whole time with that laser constantly on him.
And we're
Breathing
5-4 Rio. It's
yeah,
a good play here. He's been playing quite a sensible game. So mixing it up and doing the quick early purloin, and especially when you've been hitting so many green tests, I think it was a good decision and obviously paid off.
Yeah, it's definitely out of Rio's style, but Courtyard is a good place to break it. I mean, Courtyard isn't really a map where you're necessarily just going to want to follow the formula if it's just going to lead you to, a lot. So it's definitely a place to maybe break out of your usual play. And JD really needs the spy win here to hold on to this set.
Good 33 to start. We're playing Twin today, and the other Twins gets the early highlight. General just
Oh,
bugged.
General totally just bugged. My God. Yeah, look at that highlight. My God, if General goes to statues and is in for BB, General can die. And it was visible on the spy camera. I really don't know if JD was looking for it. No, JD is purloining instead, right on screen. That he only gets a highlight for it. Oh, and General gets low lit. That is
He only knows
tragic.
one thing, and it just wasn't General. Queen gets a low light. She's holding a drink, so she couldn't have done part of a reject chain. I think. Oh, don't gulp here. Okay, good. We're not getting shot for the gulp. Ryooo still taking his time, just slowly getting purloin low lights.
The good news for JD is that it didn't look like Ryooo was 100% certain about who did that purloin. It's possible that Ryooo was watching General or just watching other things and isn't sure if someone might have rejected before or not. Definitely didn't see the fake. So I think the longer JD stands around here doing nothing, the more it might look like JD is just an innocent civilian who took a green purloin for someone else. But JD will
Yeah,
have to go to statues at some point, and if you go to statues, in the last 30 seconds after this, it won't be great.
I'm looking at JD's name. It's jd105L, and I think the L stands for loss. This is
That's
gonna be
very
tough.
clever.
I'm just stealing chat jokes, honestly.
Oh, was it in the chat?
No,
Oh,
I'm just making it. I'm riffing.
all right.
It's a riff.
I get it. Sorry.
We are giving up on finishing missions as far as I can.
I mean, I don't think completing missions is going to work, so I think this is the higher percentage
Here we go.
play. And
In the end of
contact coming off, it's a fake. And some of the other highlights that Ryooo has are in the conversation. But again, there is still no need to shoot unless Boots or Duke go to statue.
And Duke just did a really bad thing for Bug.
Ooh! A bug, a reverse drive-by attempt. It didn't take, but it wasn't seen. I mean, go over to Duke and red flirt him and hope that he goes to statues. Oh no, he
Or get
bugged
shot
right
in
on
Twins
screen.
fancy shoes.
I mean, I think JD realized that none of the other AI were going to finish. It would need to be an AI who was in conversation for that purloin and could be a suspect, and was in convo for the BB, would need to go to statues. And I think JD knew it wasn't going to happen. So again, it was just trying to make the best of a bad situation that whole game, trying to figure out how to recover from, a white purloin that he really wanted to have been a green. And I think he was making good choices there, sort of evaluating what the best percentage play was going to be, even if low percentage.
Yeah, most players aren't willing to frame. It's just not something that particularly happens. And he did do half the job in doing the fake banana bread, and then the other half of the job is doing nothing. And at least making it aware that the sniper, this is an option. The biggest problem is the people that I mean, you don't really know who's going to be the suspects, but the people who were the suspects, be it Duke and Boots, both had drinks in their hand. They weren't likely candidates to go to statue anytime soon.
And now we're going to see a really big test for JD here. JD is the one who chose Veranda after a, strange history with it, banning it
Bug,
sometimes, picking it other times.
bug, bug,
Yep,
bug.
there it
That's
is. And it was
the
on
shot.
screen. Wow. I mean, that is a pretty good standing bug as far as standing bugs go. There's a lot of cover. That's the hardest part of Veranda to see. And we weren't even like right next to the ambassador. I think there was someone between us. So you don't even necessarily expect Kane to be able to get a bug there. So I
He
don't
wasn't
blame
particularly
Rio at
zoomed
all.
in on it either. I think that's the most impressive thing is he noticed the lean without the zoom in. I know it was predictable. I said it 5 times, but still a really strong catch from JD, and it puts him in a spot where he can make this comeback. Weird
Oh,
little
but the
fight.
AI is bringing him to statues again. JD
Just swap.
really.
Just swap it. Like,
Why
there's
not?
only one option here. Start right clicking.
I mean, the only thing I would maybe do if I was JD would be like just one cycle, so that maybe it throws the sniper off a little bit. But oh well, we got the 2 inspects, we got the highlight, and it becomes a lot harder to win. Hopefully, the party is nice to us and gives a lot of other statue highlights.
Yeah. So this is one of the
Purloin,
white purloining again. Toby,
we
hide
weren't
the
really
list.
watching
Go
for
away,
it, and
Toby.
we're still not watching for it. The rotation isn't going over to the guest list at all. It's focusing on the ambassador over at the chef. Now we're noticing that the list is gone. It's hard to see the tray. And
Okay, some lowlights are gonna come off, but I don't think we necessarily saw it before Queen took. It's gonna be a test of memory, but JD's still holding the drink, which is a bit of a unfortunate memory tool for Ryu. We don't hit a green, which is novel.
uh, wow, that was almost a bug opportunity, except both of our hands were full. So we didn't get the difficult print. We don't have flirt. That's basically the real issue right now. You really need to start getting that flirt. And just looking at Rio's camera, it looks like Rio has really been caught off guard, thrown off balance by this person. He doesn't know who did it. He's zooming all over the place. He's questioning whether or not he really should lowlight someone or not. JD going in for the second inspects now. I don't really know how much of a suspect JD is here. The only thing is, JD is really going to need to start picking up that flirt soon. There's a swap, a green swap happening. Sniper might not be looking for that. I mean, if a purloin has happened, you think that's the hard tell. They're not going to go for another.
Problem with this swap is we're not gonna be able to finish 2 missions in time unless we do banana bread and bug or like banana bread microfilm. The swap's gonna get seen and he's gonna have time to process it. Yeah, we're just gonna do our flirt. The insta-talk looks really suspicious when you're zoomed in like that.
Yeah, the
I think he
statue is
might be
now being
watching the
swapped by
ambassador, but
Teal, but it's not being watched at all. Rio didn't check the statue after we were done with it, and he still isn't checking it now. He sees Teal there. He gives her a highlight. He doesn't even check to see if it's swapped. Rio has definitely been thrown completely off his game by that
he
purloin.
can see the statue. So Teal actually did a sidestep to the other statue, but the swap statue was still visible. The because it was the writer of the 2 statues, to the best of my knowledge. We're not dead yet, and we have 3.5 missions done, and if selection target helps us out and stays here, we can time our flirt. If we hit another green, we're at 4. What's your 5th mission, Dels?
Well, it's the contact, isn't it?
I think we might
Definitely the
die.
contact.
I think
There's
we
no
might die
reason
in
to go for the
contact.
micro.
I think it might need to be a cheeky bug. I think we might die in contact.
Maybe. It really just depends on who else is in conversation. Teal.
Ryu
Wait,
signaling to the casters with the zoom in on the statue.
he just saw the swap.
Banana bread.
He just saw it.
And
the
there's a
banana bread comes
banana
off.
bread
Mom
unless
is
he can
talking.
make a decision. Yes, Teal's gonna get. Oh my god! We don't know who to shoot. We almost
Good
shot Teal.
shot.
Came off on JD in the end. That is so unfortunate. JD played that very, very well and nearly got away with it. My god.
I love how emotive Ryu's sniper was there. So he zooms in on the statue, and you can hear the bwomp bwomp bwomp, and then the banana bread happens like snap immediately, and Ryu making the snap decision, shooting the spy, but making it real tight there.
I mean, that was well played by both of them. It was a great spy game from JD, but also that split-second decision-making from Rio to have just noticed the statue and just have the banana bread go off. A lot of snipers could just freeze up, not know what to do, just be looking, trying to remember who was at each statue. And Rio correctly knew that there was no time to think about it, and he just had to follow his gut. And I think the reason the shot came on Tex is because Tex was an early highlight. So Rio had been noticing Tex more throughout the game, whereas Teal just picked up the highlight for the statue and really hadn't been doing anything since then. And so Rio just really had the right instincts there.
Yeah, assuming that the purloin was gotten away scot-free, you're basically shooting for the 2 inspects versus the 1 inspect from Teal, because Teal can't be done there with only 1 inspect.
It was a really good call. The reason Teal could have been shot is because she was the one at the statue more recently. So it's good that Ryooo remembered that Tex had been there earlier when he was completing his inspection. And it's especially impressive because, like I said, I think Ryooo was just really thrown off for most of that game. I don't think he was as on top of things as usual from missing the purloin. So the fact that he still had the correct state of mind there to have still been noticing the things Tex was doing and be able to take the correct shot, it's scarily impressive. And with that, Ryooo has held on to the lead going into the second half of the match here, and it's going to be really hard for JD to bring it back.
Yeah, so we're right now it's Ryu 7-5. Ryu getting another win will put him as the victor because 8 games is enough as the higher seed. We have Ballroom here, which is a 50-50 map, and then we have Balcony, which is a real painful map to end your set on. Live
Oh
or
wow,
die
that
on the.
ambassador really wants to be bugged, and we're going to contact, and I bet we're going to take the bug. We do. It's visible, but I don't know if JD was looking at it. The
Yeah, so
sniper laser was actually on that half of the venue at the time, but
JD did catch a similar bug on Veranda. He missed a similar bug on Terrace. It seems like the banana bread covering is the difference here, and Ryu just continued doing the same plays that worked previously and not just taking the bug raw, which might have gotten him.
yeah, and Rio's just going to be going for fingerprints now. If there was any suspicion from the bug, then immediately going for a briefcase would look bad, but we don't even have a highlight on Ryo. Suggests to me that he has gotten away with it. General takes the spot we wanted next to Kane. We're still going to get a decent flirt here.
49% perfect. We do look a bit close to general, honestly, but that's not our selection target, and I'm not sure JD is particularly a heavy pairer. There is also a fingerprintable statue, conveniently, that happened right while we were doing the briefcase. Rio's been very good at tracking where his ambassador's been. Ambassador! Your ambassador going back to the same statue, which just makes it really obvious.
I mean, this is another, like on Terrace, basically the situation was if you get away with the bug, you can win because they're not going to have a reason to shoot. On Ballroom, it's a little bit different. You got away with the bug, but you do still need to chase that second fingerprint. And if you do that in an obvious way, you might get shot, even if you're not credited with the bug.
Okay, now we have fingerprint options with ambassador going to the green bookcase. We really don't need to rush the fingerprint. It should still be there, at least in one place, when we want to take it. Really, it's going to be a shot coming down to flirt pairing and fingerprints, and that's going to be hard. This
And
could be the.
look at that road highlight. It just moved over to us, highlight us without thinking. I think if Ryo was maybe a suspect for the bug earlier, we would have at least seen the laser hang for a moment, really be thinking about it, thinking about if she could be finishing. But the way that highlight came off, I think we're just not a suspect for the bug, and that means we're about to win with this final.
This really does look like a flirt, but we're away from the selection target at least 3 seconds, and Ryu claims the set. GG's.
There it is. So yeah, Ryo going up to 8 means that JD isn't able to bring it back, even if it ties. So I believe we stop there. Is that correct?
Yeah, so this set's over. I'll make sure Ryu understands that. And I think the thing to learn is being on like the losers side of this bracket, you still have to play people like JD. It's miserable.
JD kept that match really close. I'm impressed. And that Veranda game really could have gone the other way as well. That was that last second shot. JD played a really good spy game there. And what was it? JD basically held even on Modern, held even on Terrace, including getting one spy win. And unfortunately, the loss on Courtyard is what really gave Rio the lead here. And
Yeah,
JD
I've
wasn't
whispered
able
some
to bring it
GGs
back.
at them as a signal
If they
that they're done. But
if they play this out,
then
I
they-
guess we'll continue casting it. But we'll see what
Yeah.
they do. Nope.
Yeah, there we go.
Game ended
So,
prematurely.
Rio will go through. These games will only get harder if you win, because you're gonna end up having to play some more bronze, silver, gold, some absolute killers. People who won the lower division, like Ascend Beyond and Legorv, are gonna be out there. In the lower brackets, you're still gonna have to deal with people like JD, who are doing godly bugs and hitting every green test they could possibly ask for. So no matter what happens, both of these players are looking promising, and I'm happy that this was our first game that we get to cast the tournament placement, because there's just gonna be hopefully a lot more of these types of games.
Yeah, that was a fantastic first game, and again, really impressive from JD. The seeding really doesn't tell you the whole story here. The people making the top of these divisions, even if they're some of the lower divisions, are really scary. So I'm looking forward to seeing more. And I believe we have the weekly cast starting up. What is it? An hour from now?
Yes.
Yeah, an hour and 5 minutes, 5 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time.
Personally, I think that all of the higher seeds should win. I think that that's only justice for this tournament of placements.
You
And
are
take
the
away-
highest seed, though. That would mean that you would win everything.
I do want to point out here, though, at this point, is that the tournament of placement is all about upsets. Where if there were no upsets in the tournament of placements, it actually does nothing. And arguably, it's a failure, Kaylee. If no one has moved, if no one moves.
All right, it's a little early to start calling things failures here.
Mordar's just grumpy because he's gonna lose to Tapsies, and we're gonna make fun of it. Tapsies in lobby, by the way. He got over 1,000 games recently.
Don't predict the future, please.
I know, right?
Alright.
With that, guys, Warder, you want to close this out?
Yeah. Thank you all for joining us. Stay right here in an hour, and we will have your usual daily, well, weekly SCL, finishing up the makeup week with some games that we missed. And then after that, we will be mostly casting tournament placement games and Diamond, Platinum, and Gold finals. And hopefully all of those three are going to be live. Alright. And with that, we'll see you guys later.
Yeah.
Have a good evening.